Yo, what's going on guys, Impulse here and welcome back to another Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today's battle I'm going to be battling Draco the Dragonite, and this took place on his live stream. He's a PokeTuber and as I've just said, he does live streams, giveaways and battles. So if you want to check him out, his link will be down in the description. He's a cool guy, so I recommend that you do. For this one I brought a weaker team. On the stream he said he was still nervous because he's seen my battles, he thinks I'm a good battler, which I appreciate. So you can see that I'll be leading with a Smogon, a Marowak, a Cresselia, a Toucannon, a Sylveon and a Theraphone. And my opponent's going to have Darmanitan, Latios, Keldeo, Chansey, Theraphone and Gastrodon. So the odds are stacked against me. I know that I've only got one chance of even doing anything in this game. If that one thing doesn't go off, then I've straight up lost. I've got no chance at all. So I hope you guys enjoy this. And if you do, don't forget to hit that subscribe if you haven't already. Anyway, let's get into this battle. So, I am challenged by Draco. Pokemon Trainer Draco. He's going to lead out with Harambe, the Darmanitan, and I'm going to lead out with Smogon. I think that's the reference to the fake mon, the monkey that was made. It's pretty cool, I guess. So this first turn I'm scared of the rock slide, so I don't go for a Spore, but I do stay in because I don't really have a choice but to, and I go for the sticky webs because I didn't want to go for Spore in case he switched out into Theraphone. And he ended up going into Chansey, so I'm going to end up switching out now and going into Cresselia, because as I said at the beginning, I've got one chance and this is it. Chansey goes to the Seismic Toss on the switch and picks off some damage. Obviously it's a set damage, so I know it wasn't going to do too much. And now, lulling him into a full sense of security, I go for the trick. If he'd have switched out there, that would have been it. I don't think I would have been able to do anything, but fortunately I'm able to give him the Choice Scarf. And he's going to be stuck now on one move for the rest of the game, which is going to make Chansey a lot easier to deal with. And of course we're going to cut its defenses back down to its usual stats. So he's going to go for the poison, and that's going to start chipping away at me. And I decide I'm going to make a switch out, and so is he. He goes out into Harambe the Darmanitan I guess to go for those massive U-turns, get some huge damage, but he's going to get caught in the sticky web as he comes out. I'm going to switch out and go into Sylveon because I've got the heal bell, which he kind of predicted at some point in the match, but even so, it's something that I can't do right now. Unfortunately, I need to switch out and fodder off Smogon because I need Sylveon to combat the Keldeo. It's the only thing that I've got that can really stand up against it, and I was really pitching my mons play for play in this battle. It was really challenging and it was a really enjoyable battle. So with Smogon down, he goes out into Keldeo, and as I stated, I've got to go out into Sylveon to counter it. It's the only thing that could take hits from it, so that's what I'm going to do. I know he's going to be scared off, so I'm going to go for the heal bell. My opponent's going to switch out into Chansey. Heal Bell's going to go off and cure the poison. And now I'm going to be able to get off a wish. He's stuck on one move, so he's got to go for some damage. He goes for his Seismic Toss after seeing the heal. So figuring that he's not going to want to stay in too much longer, I'm going to switch out myself. And I go into Theraphone. If he decided to stay in and go for a Seismic Toss, that's fine because we've got the Iron Barbs and the Rocky Helmet and it would have been some nice recoil. But he ends up going out into his Theraphone. So I've got a really good play that I want to make, but I can't make it right now. So we're going to trade off rocks. He decides that he wants to switch out and get some damage on me, so he goes back out into Harambe. Unfortunately, it's going to take some damage from the rocks, and it's also going to take a T-wave. So heavily crippling Harambe, we're going to be able to start doing work. Figured that it was going to go for some massive damage, and Cresselia is my physical, well, my only physical wall really. So I'm going to go out into it to take some beats. He goes for the Flare Blitz, and it's going to do massive damage. It's going to do a massive recoil as well. So with him being slower, thanks to the paralysis and the sticky webs, I'm going to get some moonlight action going. My opponent goes for his Flare Blitz, figuring he can take it out, but it doesn't quite pay off, and I'm going to end up living on very little HP. So knowing that he's in a loop, he doesn't really have much of a choice but to switch out, and it gives me the opportunity to heal up. I almost went for Thunder Wave here, because I do carry it on Crest, making that prediction, but if I did, I felt like I wouldn't be able to do anything later in the game with it, so I decided to heal up. Unfortunately, I fear that this Latios has defog, and there's nothing I can do to stop that. So I go out into Sylveon just in case it wants to drop a Draco, but it ends up going for the defog just as predicted. Defog's going to get rid of my sticky webs and both sets of rocks, which is great because now I can start putting a plan into motion. But first, I'm going to have to deal with this Latios. So he's going to withdraw his Latios and go into his Gastrodon. This Gastrodon's going to take a lot of damage because I'm going to go for the Hyper Voice. I've got Pixelate and I've got Max Special Attack. And fortunately, I get the crit, which means I'm going to be able to two-shot this thing. My Sylveon's trained in Max HP, Max Special Attack, and a special defense up nature. So with the Gastrodon going down, he goes back out into Harambe. I decide I've got to go into Crest to take the hit again. He does massive damage, but fortunately for him, he's able to outspeed without the sticky webs, and he's going to take me down. So I bring in Marowak because it's the only guy that can really resist a fire type move, and I don't really have much that can outspeed this. So he's going to go for a Flare Blitz again to get off as much damage, figuring that his guy's done enough, and it's going to do a lot even though it's a resisted hit. But it's going to go down to the recoil. I make a safe play and go for the Shadow Bone, in case he wanted to go for his Latios, but he doesn't, and he brings out his Keldeo, which means I'm going to have to play the switcheroo game again. So Marowak's going to make a return, and Sylveon is going to come back out into the field. My opponent goes for his Scald, and it's going to do a nice amount of damage because I'm not invested into special defense. But it's not going to do enough that he wants to stay in and deal with me. So he's going to make a withdraw again just to play it safe, and he goes out into Theraphone. I decide to play it safe and go for the Wish, needing the HP for later in the game. So I'm not sure if his Ferrophone's got Gyro Ball or not, so I've got to scout it out. So I go into my own Ferrophone to see if it has got it, and he does have it, which means he's going to take some recoil damage. Now I predict the stealth rocks and I go out into 2 cannon because I've got a great play that I want to do. Unfortunately, my opponent doesn't want to play along with my strategy, so he switches straight out into Chansey, which kind of ruins the little plan. So I decide that I've got to make a switch again, and I'm going to go out into Ferrothorn once again to try and bait his Ferrothorn. And of course, if he wants to try and get zesty with Toxic, which he does, or if he wants to go for his attack, he'd take some recoil damage as well. So my opponent's got to switch, and I know that, so I'm able to fire off my T-Wave. T-Wave's going to hit, and it's going to do its work. Now, trying to get my plan back into motion, I predict his Stealth Rocks, and I go out into 2 cannon to avoid the damage that Stealth Rocks would do. And the plan overall is I'm going to go for Flame Charge, and Flame Charge is going to increase my speed. It'll be a 2-hit KO, and thankfully, or hopefully, I'll survive and he'll get paralysed or something like that. I'll get my +2 speed and I'll outspeed Keldeo, and I'll be able to take it down with Bullet Seed. But unfortunately, I get the crit, Hax plays against me, and I don't even get to try the strategy out. So I was hoping for a little sweep there. It might have involved a little bit of luck, a little bit of hacks, but if it had paid off, it would have been great. I had the King's Rock, I could have gone for the I could have gone for the flinches, and it would have been good. But now we don't outspeed, so I've got to switch out. And of course, Sylveon's got to come back out into play. Sylveon's going to take some damage, and Icy Wind's going to come and do some minor damage and drop our speed. I predicted the Icy Wind, but it didn't matter because Sylveon had to come in either way. So my HP's looking pretty low, and he's looking low on Mons, and he's going to make a switch, just in case as usual. I decide to get a little bit zesty, and I go for the Hyper Voice. Hyper Voice is going to hit Chansey, and I guess it's good to see how much it was doing to test the waters. Going to start up a little bit of recovery, and knowing that Chansey's bulky, I don't really have much of a choice but to try and take it out. He's going to go for his Seismic Toss, and I'm going to go for my Wish. And for the next couple of turns, it's going to be a cycle of Wish, Hyper Voice, and it's going to keep going. And so, in the interest of saving time, I'm going to speed this section of the battle up. So with Chansey doing its final attack, we're going to fire off a Moonblast, and we're going to be able to take it out. Finally, Chansey's dealt with, and we're able to recover his HP back up to fight Keldeo. Latios is going to come back out, and with me not being trained in defense, I was just still hoping that he doesn't have Psyshock. But he does have Psyshock, and the Psyshock's going to deal a lot of damage. Hyper Voice is going to kick off, and it's going to be able to take out Latios. So his final mon is Keldeo. So I checked after the battle, and if he gets a high roll on the attack, or if he gets a crit, he wins the match because he sweeps my entire team with Keldeo. But fortunately, he doesn't get the highest of the high, so we're able to survive it and take him out. So GG Draco, it was a great match, really enjoyed it. Like I said before guys, if you haven't seen him, go and check him out, his link's down in the description. So I don't have time to stick around today guys, I'm going to get off. So if you've enjoyed this battle or learnt something useful, go ahead and mash that like, share and subscribe buttons, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Laters!